Father, would you take this cup from me? Father, Father, would you take this cup from me? Let your will be done, not mine. Oh, Father, would you take this cup from me? Let your will be done, not mine. I was blind, but now I see. Now I will do it. I was broken, then you called me to your will. I will get on my knees, even when the enemy's coming after me. Oh, I will praise you, even when he's trying to kill me. He's trying to kill me. Father, don't take the cup from me. I agree to do your will. Father, please don't take this cup from me, because I agree. I agree. I'll take the cup of suffering, just like the King. The King, he sweated blood in the Garden of Gethsemane. And when he prayed to you, he said, Father, would you take this cup from me? But just like the King, I give up my will. My will doesn't matter. My own will kills me. You heal me. You heal me. You set me free. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Is free indeed. So, Father, would you open my womb for me? I'm barren, please set me free. Father, would you give a son to me, so he can be a child of the King? Father, let me add to your family. Put your trust in me. Father, would I do without you? What would I do without you and your love? Everything I have, it belongs to you.
And a good morning to you. I'm trying to figure out how to do the come on here. System sound a little bit up. Trying to figure out how to do a simple overlay or a simple way of alright, that's good right there. Down there. So that when I come here, it's right there. Because I like the idea of captions, but captions makes this picture too small. So I'm gonna try to do it without the captions today. Just just checking. Um, something. Uh, customize. Ooh, hi everybody. Something like that. The demo. Let's make this. No. Let's go into design and hide the very yellow. Go here, hide the yellow. There we go. Okay. Something. So this is ooh. This is a great question. Great question that was asked to me 3 minutes ago. I'm not going to share the name or the screen. Have a question. Recently was told by my Catholic in-laws that I was an adulterer for not getting married through the church, and they were exposed to hell being Catholic. He meant by Catholic tradition. Wife and I recently joined a Pentecostal church, but we are married through Texas common law since 2012. How does God and how should I go about this? So, great question. Um, your Catholic in-laws are speaking from the perspective of the only way you will go to church is if you are Catholic. Uh, Jesus never said that. Never ever said that. He even here's the wild part. He never specified that you had to be part of a church. Morning, Angela. He never specified that you had to be part of a church. Oh, by the way, sir, I'm answering this while also being on my live stream. I'll give you a link here shortly so you can sit in on it. Um, never said you have to be part of a church in order to go to hell or heaven. Uh, I would also recommend that you get married physically. Get a marriage license, make that common law a thing of the past, and get married. Um, but as far as specific type of tradition, Jesus said make sure you have nothing to do with tradition and things of men. Why? Because tradition is a prison. Now, I speak from experience, coming from the Amish, which it's a bit strange. The Amish were first known as, good morning, Eloise and Princess Waterfall. Well, don't be chatting. What was that? Wow. Sorry, sorry, sir. Um, I'm having fun with my live stream, peeps. Um, grew up Amish. My parents grew up Amish. They left when I was 2 years of age. They were told as long as they weren't in the Amish church, they would go to hell, which is very, very interesting because when um, one moment, when when the Amish, before they were known as Amish, they were known as Anabaptists because they didn't want to do a full baptism immersion back when the Catholic Church was doing full baptism immersion. But uh, due to a level of interaction between the Catholic and the Amish said, "We will never be like the Amish." Guess what? The Amish today are like the Catholic, so incredibly close, it is scary. But anyways, are you going to hell for not going to the Catholic Church? Absolutely not. I am going to recommend to you a video that I found some years ago. We want to say 2 or so years ago. Uh, nope. DPT OTM Ministries, which and copy this URL. If you on the live stream want to know which church Jesus came from, I just posted that link in the live stream. And for you, sir, I'm gonna have it ready once the audio goes through. Um, but you will find out that the church that the Roman Catholics formed is not the church that Jesus formed. And since Jesus is the author and finisher of our salvation, you get that from Hebrews chapter 3, that means that nobody, nobody anybody talking about hell, about how to get into heaven, how to get into hell, if they are not in the same church that Jesus formed, they don't have a clue how to get to heaven either. But I would recommend you go purchase a marriage license, get in front of a judge, get married. There is a very specific reason when it comes to walking in repentance for the bloodline as to why. And if you have more questions, go ahead. Join me in the live stream. Maybe we'll make it a teaching. And if you're able to join, there we go. All right. Thank y'all for being patient. Um, that particular link that I just shared comes from the ministry John Barnett Online Teaching. It hilariously comes up as DBTM, which is short for Dallas Bible Theological Seminary Ministries. So if you're in the Dallas area and you want to see Mr. John Barnett in person, he is in the Dallas area. So, any other questions from y'all? You have any questions I could be answering before I get started? Yes, no, maybe so. All right. Give it a few more here. Makes it very unique that I have my I have oh, that's what I was gonna do. Come over here and oh shoot, I can't do that. Nope, not that. Screen share. Can I do 2 places? Nope, I can't. Okay. All right. Well, I tried. Well then, let's set this off to the side. So this can be off to the side. Now we have it. Lovely. Okay, cool. We can do that. You might have noticed if you go to Deep Believer. With the latest video. That's not Deep Believer. That's not the Deep Believer I was looking for. This one. Oh, Deep Believers. Got it. You might have seen. Why is this not? There you go. You might have seen. Oh, cool. Have that option? That's amazing. Deep Believer dropped a video on the 30th of July, which was Wednesday. And I am in this is the amazingness of God, where Deep Believer has placed me in the same arena as Julie Lopez and Dave Bryan. Dave Bryan being the one who severed the cord of Anton LaVey. So it's very, very unique because it's not theory, it is real, it's historically written, this is urgent. Then she has the link to the conversation. One moment, let me do that while I scroll to the. It's the one section one thing I do like about Restream. I can hide the screen while I am scrolling, but in the comment section, now Miss Jennifer is very, very responsive when it comes to responding to the comment section. This fella right here, Lef McLeod, has gotten some very interesting responses, and I am thinking about inviting him or her. Not quite sure whether it's a sir or a madam, and thinking about inviting them to a live stream where they can talk and I can talk, because we tend to lose a lot of clarity through words being typed. So if you think, well, let me just show you. Fella has quite a lot to say. Me too. There's my invite. He does have a great deal, he or she has a great deal of knowledge. And my question is, do they have any experiential knowledge? Because without having been there, you're like a tour guide speaking about the Grand Canyon without having been there when it was formed. You speak from knowledge, I speak from experience. And the two will never agree. Nicodemus, a studied student of the law, couldn't understand Jesus, even though he, as a student, had studied the Torah for 50 plus years. So it is with you. You won't convince me of anything unless you are also visibly speaking. So join me on my channel. Let's set up something. I practice Romans 8 1 and 2. I'm not certain where you get the idea that if someone doesn't see from your point of view that they are automatically in error. Does Jesus say the same when he was told of disciples of John casting out devils, and his disciples wanted to call down fire? All right. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Oh, hi, JP. You can't you can't lose connection. What the heck are you doing? We are going and going and going and going and going. Okay. Now to. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. Here. So, something that I've been experimenting with. Um, oh, hi, Mark. I tell you what. I have this ability. If you'd like to join me in the restream, you do not have to be on camera. But if you would like to join me on the restream and ask your questions directly, the theme had been to go after the prayers. But if you want to join me on the restream directly and ask me those questions, you are able to do that. And if you like my answer from what I sent you on Telegram, and would like to ask further, then you can do that. If not, we'll go ahead and get into the prayers. It's entirely up to you. Oop, sorry, I'm trying to change what's shared here. There we go. I will say that the topics for today, other than self-righteousness, getting into sexual perversion. Oh my goodness, it is hard hitting. By the way, I got a level of deliverance. I don't know whether I told y'all, but I got a level of deliverance yesterday, and the level of, oh my goodness, JP, burping, 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 burping. I could not stop burping. Before it went out, it literally felt like a basketball, like a melted basketball was moving back and forth in my stomach. It was the craziest thing. So, if you're up for it, Mr. Mark, let me know. If not, let me know that too. That invite goes to anybody else too. If you would like to join me to ask me questions directly without it having to be the delay of the conversation in the live stream, you can do that. Studio, check my comments while I. $1,164. Um, comments. Ah, hello, Ash. Um, something. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Bu- 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 bu. Huh. There we go. Morning, Mr. Marco. You are either muted on your side or something. Are you there? Hello, Marco? Checking on my. You might be muted. Let me close this. If you're speaking, I cannot hear you. Huh. Uh, well. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. There. Um, refresh your. Are you here on phone? Muted in Restream? That's odd. Shows that you're. Let's see here. How about that? I've currently got you where the your camera is hidden but your audio is on. Does that work? Huh. Well, I have a second way to do it. Bear with me one moment. Bear with me one moment, Mark. I'm Marco. Um, Here, and I'm going to send you something privately on Telegram. One moment. Looking at my calendar, I saw the first, and all I saw was Labor Day. I was like, "What the heck? How'd we skip August?" Jump in over here. I'm sending you something privately on Telegram. Come in over there. I'm going to go ahead and remove you from the restream. Um, and we'll do it that way. Hey. All right. That's working because I can hear the audio already. One moment. Let me do that and then share this. All right. You had questions.
Oh, about the in-laws?
That or anything else you had.
Oh, okay. I wasn't ready for that. I just haven't haven't seen the video yet.
Okay.
About the in-laws, the question about the in-laws about um.
Okay. For the let me jump from that one to the choice to do the common law. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, we like back in I guess 2010, 2011. I was dating my wife, but then she, of course, being Catholic, she had well, I guess it was both because we kind of, like they say, we kind of already wanted to be intimate, but she didn't want to. I did, but she kind of got to the point where, like, she's like, "No, let's get married. Let's get married." I was like, okay. So we tied the knot, and the first thing we did, it was we didn't have money to do a big
Mhm.
ceremony, big thing. I was kind of more like my beliefs were more into like Protestant, not Catholics.
Yeah.
um, so it was kind of like we're like, well, let's just get married, right?
Hmm.
And let's just get married. That's the first step.
Gotcha.
And it just stayed like that. Everything else kind of stayed in the limbo. And then later, I kind of told her about my beliefs
Hmm.
about God. Not really into like Mary and worshiping,
Yeah.
like outside. Like I kind of gave her like another perspective.
Hmm.
I wasn't all that. I can't say I was all that.
Right.
I was kind of like a lukewarm, kind of more religious,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
she was also religious. So that's how we started, and now it's we got married 2012. Now it's 2025, and her parents come on a visa from Mexico
Hmm.
here, and this past time they're always pushing us to go into Catholicism. And that's whenever towards us because we're not worthy. We're separate brothers. They call us like separate brothers.
Hmm.
So we're kind of like not brothers within the church. We're kind of like left the church. So it's so yeah. They say yeah, y'all are the separate brothers, like because y'all left the church, and It's been kind of hard. Whenever you ask, like, in your questionnaire about like unrepentant, if I had anything against, I always had, I had, I, I, I have to say I had something when it comes to forgiveness.
Hmm.
I had something against him because it's that thing where he's always like bashing us
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're not really basically worthy
Hmm.
of seeking God because we're not within the church.
Yeah.
And it that kind of made me feel like I don't want him. Why should I? So it got to the point to where I even told my wife, I was like, where do we draw the line? Where is acceptable for me to keep taking them in if every time they come, I want to be good with God.
Yes.
I don't want to have nothing against them.
Yeah.
But is it bad? Like not too long ago, I was when I joined the the group,
Hmm.
which is what maybe within a week.
Less than
I
that.
was I was I still feel seeds in my heart because I kept thinking about it, thinking about it. I was like, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back, and I'm basically expecting him to
Hmm.
bash us again.
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't want them. I don't want him back.
Hmm.
I don't really want him back. He should go to, because I feel like he's just gonna awaken stuff.
Yeah.
But then I kind of examined myself, and I was like, wait a minute, Marco, are you having something against your in-law because of that? Are you, because maybe you are having and holding something against him, and you're not really forgiving him. So I was like, I told my wife, I was like, I think I'm having something against your father. So I don't know where to draw the line. Is it, so I was like, you know what? He's welcome. I have to make my flesh die,
Yeah.
and I have to accept him. I have to love him
Yeah.
because the word says that you have to love your enemy. Like even you have to like feed him, and you have to care for your enemy. And I was like, your father's not my enemy, right?
Hmm.
And so it got this point to where I was like, I need to break the flesh. I think this is where it's gonna be hard for
Yeah.
me because it's like, but then I would tell her, I was like, am I doing the right thing? Because I am allowing him to come into my house, my property, um, and why? Why? So that was like my main question, like, where do we draw the line sometimes when they're actually bashing you? But it's like, well, you could not let him in. He could go to his other sons and daughters' houses, not only stay at your house. And yeah, so it's a lot of things that a lot of, I guess, a lot of emotions and stuff. But at the end, I feel like it comes within my heart. It does make an impact on how it makes me feel about him. And I honestly don't want to feel anything about him. I'm willing to accept him back.
Hmm.
And
So I tell you what, you bring up an excellent opportunity for me to share something. This is so I recognize that forgiveness is difficult. Um, a fair amount of why we go through something and it it's a scenario where the offense is repeating over and over and over and over. Um, I recognized well before God gave me this particular ministry that forgiveness has more than just I forgive you. I recognized very early on that unless there is something that I do separate from, and in fact, this comes from when I was 31 years of age, my brain broke. I had a mental breakdown because I had five different people telling me what they wanted me to do and how they wanted me to live my life, but it was my life, so why are they telling me how to live it? And I couldn't handle five different ways to do life, and broke my brain. And so when the therapist discovered there were five different people that I was trying to please all at once. She's like, you can never please anyone other than God Almighty. And I was like, okay, great. That's great. How do I convey that to everybody else? She says, well, currently you are everybody else's doormat. They come in, they wipe their shoes off in your face, and then you're dealing with the grit of all their crap, and then trying to rub the crap out of your eyes while still trying to treat them nicely. And I was like, okay, great, that's great. How do I get past that? She's like, oh, you weren't looking for explanations. My bad. Here's how you do it. You change. You change how you are approached so that they cannot continue to approach in the same way. And so from that comes uh, something that she gave me, and I implemented it into my book. By the way, if you are having difficulty in the purchasing, I will give it to you outright. But the first thing you want to do is forgive the person for what they are doing against you. So a hurt in this case, when you are when your brother or when your father-in-law or brother-in-law, whoever it is, coming against you, always talking about how you got to go to the Catholic Church in order to get to heaven, that's a hurt. And if you are so much of a how to say it, so much of a man from the 50s and 60s, you're just not going to admit that anybody hurt you. But that's not healthy. So first, we're recognizing that the hurt occurred. Once you've begun the process of recognizing hurt, speak only about this hurt when you can say, but I forgave this person." And number C, walk in a lifestyle of repentance. Change life patterns that you were in that caused you to be in a time and place for that hurt to occur. So very simply, let's say you were to let's say your is it your father-in-law or
It's father-in-law.
okay, let's say father-in-law comes back in again. You greet him warmly. You say, "Hey, I'm so happy to have you here. This is the place where Jesus Christ rules." And if when we are in your house, you can tell us about the Catholic Church. And when you're in my house, you can tell us about Jesus Christ. And if you cannot tell us about Jesus Christ, then I will tell you about Jesus Christ. But that's how you change it. You've got to go to that place. And this, of course, would be something that you get agreement with your wife so that he can't come in and, side one person against the other. You're unified on this one. To walk in a lifestyle of repentance is to walk in a life where you are changing how you did things. And so I remember I had a really amazing friend named Eric Wright, with the same spelling as the Wright brothers. Um, and he was the first one to prove to me respect. Because he would tell me all the bad parts about every other person that he knew. He'd tell me about all their bad parts. But then I found out when he was with other people, he'd tell everybody else what my bad parts were. I mean, he was being fair about it, but he was also being unfair because he was giving a biased approach about everyone. I could never see someone without also seeing the specific negative connection that he had with them. So one day, and I was telling my therapist about Eric, and she says, well, true friends will respect what you want them to say or what you don't want them to say. And I said, so what does that look like? She says, very simply, when he starts talking bad about someone, you're just saying, Eric, I thank you for that. I want to experience them on my own. Don't speak negative about them anymore. And she says, a true friend, which up to the point of 31 years of age, I did not have any true friends. Ever. I only had people who walked on me like doormats. So I'm speaking from approximately 12 years of experience. But I said, uh, and when he started talking bad about someone, I said, Eric, I've, I'm, I'm in the going to therapy, right? He's like, yeah. And I said, well, part of the ask that I have for you. He's like, oh, great. I've had a few people go to therapy, and I tell you, I said, yes. And um, I don't want you to tell me anything negative about anyone ever again because I want to experience it for who they are and what's going on. He's like, okay. And he done good for about 2 weeks, and then one day he started telling me, I said, Eric, I told you. He's like, oh, you did. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Rutro, you there?
Yes.
Okay.
For some reason, the what's it called? The when you were talking, probably like for maybe 40 seconds, 30 seconds, um, it just kind of like the call kind of like lost itself, like the audio. It was like,
Right.
and it lost itself. You sent me a message.
I
Or,
did I send you a message?
I'm not sure.
It was just the Google Meet. I don't think I sent you another
Oh,
one.
oh yeah, I think it was that.
Okay. So
Oh, it probably said you're the only one. Am I the only one on the?
so recently discovered that the Wi-Fi here at the apartment is not the greatest, so I'm trying to run as little as possible on it. But what I was trying to say is, Eric, did you hear the bit about my friend Eric?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So it only took me to telling him twice to never speak about anyone negative, and he picked it up. But my mom, it took 8 years because walking in unforgiveness and walking in levels of um, negativity towards other people is ingrained with the Amish and also the Catholics. It is ingrained to walk in unforgiveness towards everyone, including Jesus. So it's very, very possible, and I want you to watch that video from the John Barnett. Um, he went through. I want to say this was made in 2022. Not quite sure. Um, but this particular video will explain all the various denominations that came from the church that Jesus started and where the Roman Catholic Church connects. And you'll find that even those who practice Catholicism don't know the history of their own church. Now, here's where it gets very, very interesting for me. All the people who say they go to a church, Jesus described what a church is, and all the people who have ever gone to a church, it is not actually a church they go to. It's a synagogue. Jesus described a church as a government where where the people who come together would be the ones who decide what um what type of people come into the what type of people come into the church, what type of not sorry not church, what type of people come into the town that they're in, what type of people can come into the um, neighborhood, what type of people cannot come into the neighborhood based on the level of evil that they bring along with, what type of merchants they're going to be friendly with, what type of merchants they're not going to be friendly with, what type of neighboring towns they're going to be allied with, what type of towns they're not going to be allied with, what type of countries to be allied with, what type of countries not to be allied with. All of this is the description that Jesus gave for a church. And maybe 1% of churches across the world will do that. So that is why I said on the God's Voice Today interview, that's why I said that God's voice, as God's church, is actually very tiny because of how many people do not actually do church the way that God described it or defined it as. A lot of people do church the way that the devil has defined it. So then we have individuals like Ed Citronelli, David Adams, Isaiah Saldivar, Alexander Pagani, where when they go into a place to minister and the demonically possessed are brought forward and they begin to pray over the people, the demonic manifest because of the anointing that these gentlemen carry. If a Catholic goes into those locations, they manifest and they are completely unaware that they just manifested because they think they're Christian. So, my proposal to you for your father in law is when he comes in, just just be like, well, I tell you what, when we come to your house, you can talk about Catholicism. Since you're in our house, we're going to talk about Jesus Christ. If you cannot speak about Jesus Christ, then I will speak about Jesus Christ. Leonora says in the live stream, saw in a video 3% of the church is going in the rapture. I think it's less than that. I think it's less than that. I'd be surprised if it's 1% of the church. That's highly invigorating. You see the sadness. I see that the harvest is huge. It's the laborers that are few, but the harvest is huge. That's highly exciting. You got to change how you see things, Leonard. You really got to change things. You got to see that regardless of how many people, when because here's the thing, Jesus doesn't know the day or the hour when he's allowed to return, because God is not telling him. There's a specific number of Gentiles, and when that number of Gentiles is achieved, of how many people are to receive the message of salvation. When that happens, that's when God gives the message to Jesus. That's when Jesus calls the saints. Now, here's the other thing. Jesus is not looking for the um, there's going to be tiers. There's going to be levels in heaven. In heaven, there are the ones who have laid down everything. Oh, Marco, did you have any other questions? Did I answer that one?
Not for now. Thank you. That answers a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I also, the other thing is, my parents walked out this thing of, whenever grandparents, whenever the bishop came by, whenever people came by to tell them that they were going to hell because they weren't in the Amish church, my parents would pull out the Bible. All right, show me where that is. They couldn't find it. And I guarantee you go looking into the Apocrypha or even the Bible itself. Okay, show me in the Bible where it says that if I'm not part of the Catholic Church, I will go to hell. Show me. They won't be able to find it. They absolutely will not be able to find it. Um, but the other thing uh, that my parents would do is they would say, "Well, let's wait. A couple of people are gonna get old. They're gonna die. Let's see what they say just before they, because the Amish know that just a couple seconds before the person passes over, they that the person who's dying will have a revelation, will be able to see to the other side and see what it looks like. The Amish know this. It's established in their creed. So they wait until someone's right there at the edge of in between earth and next to find out where they're going. Most everybody who is Amish dies when they go at the very end. They are terrified beyond level of reason, and they die with a terrified expression on their face. My grandma, grandpa on my dad's side, they died smiling. That was the biggest testimony. I know for a fact my grandpa Ori, my grandma Katie, they in heaven. I know it for a fact. Even though they went against their own church's beliefs to receive Jesus as their savior, because the Amish doesn't teach that, and the majority of the Catholics do not either. You just got to attend the church to be saved. But Jesus said, unless you believe in him. Now, the word believe doesn't mean in the Greek or the Latin what it means in the English. In the Latin or English, I'm sorry, Latin or Greek, believe